Okay. So, The Life We've Chosen. Story art programming by Cryos Light. Okay. Warning, this game contains mature themes such as mental illness, mainly depression, and unhealthy relationships. I wasn't going to come here today. I'm going to have to work all day tomorrow to make up for my distracted mind. I was going to work inside until nightfall. I decided to only do a few hours in the afternoon. Should have been easy enough, but in the end I couldn't handle that much. Just one of those days. It's always one of those days. Just as my thoughts begin to wander, the demon appears. They've always seemed to manifest themselves out of thin air when I'm not looking. I never learn. The large form is hunched over and wrapped in a tattered cloth, just like on the day I first became aware of their presence. Though the seasons have changed, the demon has not moved from the spot. They never initiate conversation with me. Instead, it's as if they've offered me the choice to leave and pretend we never saw each other at all. I do not leave. Hello again. The only response I get is a sleepy rumble in the back of the throat. Sometimes I wonder if my visits annoy them. It doesn't seem like the demon ever has anything else to do, but that doesn't mean that I'm not an inconvenience. I remind myself once again that if I was a bother, the demon could simply remain hidden from me. It's not like I can force them to show themselves. These meetings are their choice, too. It's been a full year since our first meeting, hasn't it? The lake's been obscured by a heavy fog once again. I've kind of missed this haze. There's something comforting about it. The demon doesn't respond. It takes some time to get them talking, as if they need a moment to wake up. Or perhaps they're simply taking their time deciding whether the conversation is worth having in the first place. Are you cold? After a calculated pause, the demon draws a raspy breath. Their deep voice reverberates somewhere in their chest, with untapped potential, but still, the sound that comes out of their beak-like mouth is barely louder than a sigh. The weather does not harm me, human. You would be wise to redirect your concerns. I have an extra blanket I could give you. No. I knew there was no point in making the offer. The demon's predictable answer amuses me regardless. The calm I felt after arriving here didn't last long. The plans I've made for tonight invade my mind out of nowhere. I can't stay long for today. My friend is coming to pick me up soon. The one you've spoken of before, I presume. Do you remember? Her name's Ella. I don't know if I've told you before. I have no interest in your names. Right, I probably wouldn't either. It'd be tactless for a human to say such a thing. The demon's bluntness is refreshing in a way. You won't have to memorize many names for my sake. I have very few friends. It's really just Ella and perhaps the demon themselves. It feels presumptuous to think of the demon as my friend, but what I don't say out loud, they don't know. I'm fairly certain they can't read minds. The demon shifts ever so slightly, adjusting their cloak. I still can't help thinking they must be cold. We're good. Your visit to this place has become more frequent lately. The observation makes my chest feel tight in a familiar way. Have they? A year ago, during the darkest days of fall, I also spent a lot of time down here. I had just moved into the small and cheap house up a slope, alone for the first time in my life. The house was suffocating. I had very few things going on in my life, and yet everything felt like too much to handle. I didn't know what to do with myself without anyone at home to perform happiness for. The lakeside felt like the only place I could breathe. It's happening again, isn't it? An idle glance at the demon reveals to me that they're waiting for me to elaborate. I guess I like it better here. Better than your dwelling, you say? Yeah. Perhaps you should look into finding a more comfortable home. I can never tell when they're joking. It's not the building that's the problem. The problem is all the things I need to do here, and all the things I need to think about. It's too much sometimes. I see your kind is still obsessed with the arbitrary responsibilities. You're not wrong. But when I'm here, I feel like I can just exist in peace, I suppose. It's nice. The fallen leaf lands silently in the moss growing from the demon's body. I never once seen them move. Since our first meeting a year ago, they've never failed to show up when I came look for them. Are they really here all the time? My curiosity is great, but the topic's a little too close to home for me to address directly. Do you like it here? The demon draws a raspy breath before responding with an audible exhaustion in their voice. It does not matter whether I like it here or not. I am here, and that is what I've chosen. There's a sense of finality in their words that stuns me for a moment. There are many more questions I'd like to ask, but in that moment I realize I'm late. I'm sorry, I have to go now. I can't make Ella wait. Do not apologize, human. I catch Ella as she's just getting out of her car into my driveway. If I had just left a moment earlier, I would have had time to go back and pretend that I'd been there all day. But now it's too late. Hey, aren't you cold like that? Where's your jacket? I'm fine. Where's yours? You don't need one in the car, Dumbo. What were you doing in the woods? I was just about to ring your doorbell when I saw you. I make a panicked sound as I try to think of what to say. I forgot to come up with an excuse. I ran into someone. Who? A neighbor? Kind of. Kind of? Who was it? I hesitate. I hate lying, but I still need more time. When I tell her about the demon, I'll have to do it the right way. I feel terrible for lying to her once again, but I just don't have the courage today. It was just someone from the area. I don't know where they live. Ella makes that face that tells me a lecture is coming. Don't you remember what Miss Bailey taught us in first grade? Don't talk to strangers, especially not in scary places after dark. We're not children. No, but you live alone. Who's going to help you if something happens to you? She knows I still don't have an answer to her question. Although she's asked it many times, I shrug in defeat. Well, I'm sure you remember I've got a spare room in my place if you ever need it. How could I forget when she reminds me of it every few months? Thanks, but I'm fine. I just worry about you. You know that. Ella bites her lip to appear endearing. Although I know it's a trick, I have to admit it kind of works. After making sure I saw her display, Ella puts on a peppy face, seemingly satisfied having guilt-tripped me out of arguing back. Anyway, let's go, shall we? Can't have you running out of canned soup again. We get in the car. Sorry about making you do this after work again. Oh, no. Kinda glad. It's good for me to see friends now that things are over with Elijah. They are? Sorry, one second. Ella doesn't even try to hide the bitter disdain in her voice. Didn't I tell you? He doesn't want to make the move into a crappy little town like this. His words, not mine. I hadn't realized it was that serious. I feel slow for not having made the connection on my own. A better friend would have seen the signs. Anyway, it's for the best. If we'd gotten married, it would have been Ella and Elijah forever. Can you imagine? Ella and Elijah. Just sounds wrong, doesn't it? I guess. You, on the other hand, have a super rad last name. Maybe we should get hitched. Were we still in middle school, I would have blushed at a joke like that. I would have kept thinking about it for weeks, trying to decipher whether there might have been some genuine interest hidden in it. Now, however, we're older. But then you'd have to deal with me every day. You don't want that. Hey, don't pretend you know everything about me. It became dark outside when we did our shopping. I should be good for another 2 weeks. As I'm loading my groceries into the trunk, I catch Ella watching me from the corner of my eye. What? Did you know Sally owns the hair salon now? Their boss left and went back to school for a second degree. So it was neglected hair that caught her attention. So it was my neglected hair that caught her attention. Figures. Oh, good for her. I was thinking we can go see her sometime. You haven't seen her in a while, have you? It'd be fun to just show up randomly at her workplace someday. Maybe. I don't know. Wouldn't that be kind of rude? What? No, she'd be happy, I'm sure. I doubt she gets many customers on her own anyway. Her boss was the good one, you know. Don't tell her I said that. Ella looks thoughtful as she locks the car trunk. Do you think Sally doesn't like you or something? No, nothing like that. I just thought it would be bad manners for us to show up without warning. You think too much sometimes, you know that? It's really not a big deal. Desperate for a change of topic, I glance at the locked trunk, pretending to have remembered something. Oh, I was going to get garbage bags. We can go back. No, I'll get them some other time. I have 1 or 2 left. I don't know if I could drive you next week. Will you really be fine? I have a bike. I like this French toast stick sign in the back. A bike you hate using. I don't hate it. I just never had a reason to use it lately, thanks to you. I try to give Ella an appreciative smile, which probably comes off as forced, but she accepts it as gracefully anyway. You're welcome. The moment I get home, thoughts about tomorrow invade my mind. I have nothing to distract myself from the dread of having I have nothing to distract myself from the dread of having a full work day ahead of me. Normally on an evening like this, I would escape to the lake. But even I would feel embarrassed doing so twice in one day. Perhaps I still have some dignity left. I end up going to bed too early. I practically ran out the door when the email arrived. Something about my performance. Low words per hour rating. I'll never be good enough, will I? I really tried my best this week. After that one day where I couldn't handle anything. This was supposed to be an easy side job anyone could do. When I arrive at the lake, I almost want to cry, but I manage to calm myself with a deep breath. One thing at a time. Today, everything is still alright, I tell myself. Today, I'm not falling apart. I won't think about it today. I address the demon beside me. There's something else on my mind. An idea that began forming a few days now. An idea that would take a lot of pressure off of me. Can I bring Ella to meet you? Only after I ask the question, I do realize I'm not sure if I even greeted the demon properly today. My obsession with the idea may have overridden my manners. Luckily, the demon isn't concerned about manners anyway. They respond in a sleepy, uninterested tone. It is your life and your choice, human. You do not need my permission. I would still like to have it. This is your home. There's a long pause, longer than usual. When the demon finally speaks, it's with reluctance. I do not presume you know how your friend will react to meeting one of my kind. However, in my experience, these events rarely end well. This path could lead you to much suffering. Perhaps it will, but that's not what I asked. Do I have your permission or not? The demon sighs submissively. You do. Alright then. I'll bring her here sometime soon. Thank you for looking out for me. Judging by their surprised reaction, the demon isn't used to being thanked. Should try saying nice things more often. In order for Ella to react well, I need a plan of some sort. How do I introduce a demon to someone who's never met one and probably doesn't believe they exist? You haven't told me your name. I have no name. There's a subtle tightness in the demon's voice, just noticeable enough to tell me that I shouldn't push the issue. I'm just thinking about how I'm going to introduce you to Ella. A name isn't necessary, but some kind of descriptor would be good to have. I think you will figure it out. You're useless. The lack of reaction immediately makes me regret what I just said. I'm sorry, that was a joke. Humor is not new to me. It has changed very little since its conception. It was still a bad joke. They don't seem offended. I make a mental note to watch my mouth regardless. This is an ally I'm talking to. When did I start making the same jokes as her anyway? Never even liked that kind of humor. She likes to make friendly jabs, but a jab is still a jab. She wasn't like that when we were young. I closed my eyes for a bit. Now that I've told the demon about my plan, I feel both relieved and anxious. I was hoping relief would be the foremost feeling, but it isn't. A cold breeze from the lake causes a shiver to run down my entire body. Return to your dwelling. Nights like this aren't meant for humans. I don't want to. This is all going to change. Next time we meet, this will all be different. I'm a little scared. What of? I don't know what Ella's gonna think of this. Of you. Already you're having second thoughts. No, I'm not. I've made my decision. I'm not gonna keep hiding you from her as if you're something shameful. It's a matter of honesty then. Yes, but it's not just that. I lose my nerve before I can articulate the difficult thought in my head. I can feel the demon's watchful eyes on me. Where do they get the patience to always wait? Where do they get the patience to always wait for me to sort out my thoughts? It's hard to imagine Ella or someone else being that interested in what I have to say. Perhaps that's exactly it. I've been thinking, and for a long time it's been like Ella and I don't really see each other. We talk often, but I feel she doesn't really hear me. I don't think she really knows me at all. I want her to understand me better. I want her to know what's really going on. What is going on? The question hits hard. It shouldn't have. It was just a question. But I forget to breathe for a moment. What is going on with me? Okay, so we've got some choices. Let's say, I don't know. I need her. I need to confess something to you. I'm going to go with a confession. I need to confess something to you. I say that although I'm not sure how to word my confession. The demon sits still as ever, but there's something off about them. Looking in their eyes, I see an emotion I can't quite name, but I can't help thinking it looks a lot like sorrow. Why? I'm sorry, should I not? The demon breathes in, seemingly deeper than usual. It's not that I don't wish to hear what you have to say, it's that the timing is precarious. There are enough variables in the air as it is. I fear having this conversation now would only complicate things. It seems they understood my meaning, although I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to say myself. I understand. Another time, then. Another time. We fall back into a shared silence, although we both know that there's something in it that we're both ignoring. It feels odd, but I trust the demon's judgment better than I trust my own. Although the night is still young, a wave of drowsiness sweeps over me. I could almost fall asleep standing up. The demon's silent presence is an immense source of comfort. It'd be easy to lie down and sleep right there, knowing that they'd be watching over me. It's a selfish desire, and although I'm not bold enough to act on it, the thought brings me solace. A gentle nudge on my left shoulder. It isn't warm or cold. It's as if it wasn't there at all, but I know I felt it. I look up, a little embarrassed. The demon returns my gaze with the same hard-to-read eyes as always. Their voice, however, is soft. Return to your dwelling, please. Although I prefer to cling to this moment a little longer, I can't deny the appeal of their recommendation. As I gather up willpower to keep moving, I realize my joints ache from the cold. The demon's common sense proves to be better than mine once again. I don't know what to say after all. See you soon. Mm-hmm. I slept and dreamt of ominous but strangely comforting scenarios that night. All about failure. Reality couldn't possibly be worse. Once the morning came, I was not afraid. Having made the decision earlier, the action came easier than I thought it would. When Ella arrived at my driveway, I simply asked her if she would like to meet the neighbor I've mentioned before. I tried to make the invitation as quick and casual as I could, so that I wouldn't have time to talk myself out of it. Ella was clearly reluctant, but she agreed. I was hoping I would suddenly gain enough courage to try and explain the situation to Ella, but it didn't happen. I still find myself avoiding her questions. I'm afraid. The only way I could be honest with her is taking her to see the demon with her own eyes. Ella stays close to me on the path to the lake. This is getting really creepy. Why can't we meet them at your house? We're almost there. During the short walk, I must have told Ella not to worry a dozen times already. We begin to descend down to the lake. The demon is there, waiting for us as they promised. They must have sensed our approach. I turn to Ella. Whoa, what is that? Some kind of... Then it hits her that what she's seeing is not a statue, but a live being. Her face contorts with shock, and then horror. Gotta calm her down. I speak up using the most soothing tone I can muster. Come on, let's go talk. She doesn't respond or move. It's as if she's frozen in place. My words don't seem to reach her at all. Without warning, she grabs my hand, and suddenly I'm being dragged back up the hill. Ella, wait. Wait, there's nothing to... I trip over something and nearly fall over, only kept up by Ella's stubborn grip on my hand. Hurry! Stop, Ella, you let go of me. She doesn't stop until we arrive at her car, panting and frazzled. My shoulder's in pain from being yanked around so violently. I'm so angry and humiliated that I feel the sting of tears behind my eyes. Why couldn't you stop for 2 seconds? Ella ignores me. For a minute, we just lean against the car and catch our breath. Eventually, she speaks up with a stern tone. You can't stay in this house. Come live with me. This again. Now? You're joking, right? I'm serious. Let's get you out of the house. Please, you have to get out. She's overreacting. This is even worse than I thought was possible. I don't want to lose you. I'm not going anywhere. I've never seen her so desperate before. Her voice is strained with concern for me. You don't know that. The demon. You don't know what it can do. The demon would never hurt me. How could she even suggest that it would? I trust them. They've been more honest than either of us, actually. It's a demon. What do you think demons do? They trick and seduce people and all that. Since when did you care about stories like that? You decided to start caring just now? She breathes heavily. I realize I'm doing the same. How did it come to this? We never fought before. Not like this. With every breath, I regret this night more and more. I've ruined everything. It's manipulating you. I don't think so. It's really nice, but how can you know? How do you know it's not going to hurt you? I guess I don't. I can't bring myself to acknowledge it out loud. For all the deep conversations we've had, I barely know anything about the demon. Suddenly, there's tears in Ella's eyes. Despite everything, it pains me to see her upset. I almost can't stand looking at her. I don't want to lose you. I want to reassure her somehow, but I already know nothing I say can help. She's not going to understand what the demon means to me. I try to blink back the tears, but it's useless. This is all useless. Ella. She's very close. My heart begins pounding again, but the catalyst is not fury this time. We've never been this close before. Ella's hand reaches for my shoulder. When was the last time she touched me? In the school playground when we were 10? This is different. This can't be. No, she wouldn't, would she? There's no way. She's not interested in me. She's never returned my feelings. My feelings? I don't even know what I feel anymore. It's all messed up. I'm so tired of trying to make sense of all this. Maybe if I just let Ella guide me? Alright. I'm gonna go with... yes. I close my eyes and trust myself to Ella for the moment. She knows what to do. I feel her warm breath before her lips touch mine. Is this how it's supposed to feel? It's definitely not the perfect magical kiss they describe in stories, but stories are just stories. No real kiss measures up to them anyway. Still don't understand what's going on, but this, it doesn't feel wrong. When Ella ends the kiss, it turns out I wish it had been longer. There's a moment of silent contemplation between us. I realize I barely did anything to contribute to the kiss. For Ella, it must have felt like kissing a dead body. What about the demon? Ella shakes her head as if to shush me. I'll help you get through this. You'll forget all about this weird stuff soon enough. What are you saying? Her stare is as cold as steel. Promise me you won't talk to it anymore. I knew it was coming, but the bold ultimatum gives me pause. She's really making me choose. Why does it have to be so dramatic? I know why. If I hadn't shown her the demon, this wouldn't have happened. This is my own fault. If I hadn't done what I did, I would have stayed close with both Ella and the demon, but now it's too late. She won't be happy unless I leave my time with the demon behind. Okay. I mean, the friend's taken me to the grocery store a while. We clearly have a history with them, but we've also been talking to this demon for a while. No, I mean, it's clearly a real demon. It's not like a manifestation. I mean, it may be symbolic, but in the sense of the game, it's an actual physical demon. I'm gonna go with no. What? They become very important to me. I'm not gonna abandon them now. Listen to yourself. Can't you see you're being manipulated? Can you stop pretending you know anything about them? You didn't even give them a chance. I can't. She opens and closes her mouth before sighing in frustration. This is just so crazy. I'm crazy, she means. Even after seeing the demon with her own eyes, she still thinks that I'm crazy and useless and broken. I think I'm gonna go home. Good. I responded without thinking, but I don't regret it despite Ella's hurt expression. I want her to leave. She stays a few seconds too long before getting in the car. I bet she wants me to beg her to stay. I won't give her the satisfaction. I'm never going to ask her for anything anymore. I already know that she's going to stay angry for a long while, but I've got to calm down. I take deep breaths, trying to focus on the comforting scent of the forest. It's over for tonight. I'll send Ella a text tomorrow or something. Or maybe I won't. Why should I? She was saying really weird things, and I don't even know what that kiss was all about. I don't want to know. Why now? I don't want to think about I don't want to think about what happened, but I do anyway. My mind replays the events over and over. First a kiss, and then she tells me to give up on the one thing that makes me happy. How could she? How can she claim to care for me and then make a demand like that? I'm more hurt on the demon's behalf, but then for my own sake. Ella didn't even give them a chance. By the time I have the thought to go and apologize to the demon, my feet have already taken me halfway down the path to the forest. I arrive at the lake to find the demon there, just the way they were earlier. I walk up slowly, unsure of what I want to say. I give them a bashful glance, but it's difficult to look them in the eye. I end up speaking into the lake, rather than directly to the demon. I'm sorry. The demon inhales, clearly exhausted. I am too. For the moment, we just exist in silence, separately but together. The lake looks the same as ever. The night's events have left me weary, but at least I still have this. Is your relationship with the red-haired one mended? No. She said some things that hurt me a lot. I'm finding I really don't want to talk about it. I didn't come here to lament the loss of a friendship that has been causing me more stress than joy for years. I'm sorry to hear that. It's not your fault. I think this would have happened sooner or later. Regardless, I'll grieve later. To be honest, I feel better. I was under the impression that she was a beloved friend of yours. I thought so too, but it seems that was my biggest mistake. I think I'll be better off without her. The familiar lakeside and the demon's presence has calmed down my nerves in mere minutes. I can breathe again. The pale gray lake ripples softly. Ella has no place here. I should have known she wouldn't understand. It's just the demon and I, and I'm at peace with that. Suddenly, something changes. The ground beneath my feet shifts just a little, or perhaps the entire forest does. The demon is moving. They stand up slowly, every ancient bone in their bodies snapping to their rightful place, one by one to make the motion possible. The terrifying sound echoes through the forest. Somehow, the demon doesn't seem to be in pain. Their face looks the same as ever. They must have done this before. Repairing their broken bodies seems to be only a matter of will to them. The little twigs and leaves that once rested on their stationary form have fallen off. And there are even feathers? The demon's cloak falls off their shoulders, revealing the torn remains of a pair of wings. Countless dark feathers flutter to the ground, twisted and lifeless. There's something viscerally familiar about the sight that makes me tear up on the spot. I understand, I would say, if I could bring myself to speak. Even while standing on 2 feet, the demon still appears hunched over. They look terribly old, weighed down by millennia of pain and indifference. I feel an overwhelming desire to take their hand and steady them like one would do for a frail grandmother. But I know I am far too small to support them. Is it time, then? Their voice is distant. I never realized just how softly they speak. Time for what? My departure. What? I feel as if I swallowed an icicle. They're thinking of leaving? But this is your home, isn't it? It has been, for a while. Do not feel sad. We'll find another. Why now? The demon avoids eye contact with me. They speak, once again, in that calculated tone that leaves me feeling disconnected. When a human, a temporary being, desires to grow, it is only right that my kind make room for them. I will move for you, if that is what you desire. I didn't ask for this. They didn't have to do this for me. I never asked them for anything, but regardless, I've become a burden again. I never said I wanted you to leave. As if caught off guard by my broken voice, the demon looks at me for a brief moment. They can't seem to hold eye contact, though, as they speak with a wavering tone. You've lost something dear to you tonight. Whether you admit it or not, this occurred because of me. So what if it did? It was my fault too, and hers. Especially hers. My jaw clenches painfully. It's her fault the demon feels guilty. You will surely begin forging new relationships soon enough. When you do, it is for the best that I am not in your way. I don't want to believe their words, but they seem convinced. You really believe this is the right thing to do? Human lives are short. They're better spent with your own kind, not with old relics such as I. Don't you agree? Is this really how it's supposed to go? It doesn't feel right. The demon does have an infinite amount of experience in this subject. They were right to warn me about introducing Ella to them as well. I know nothing compared to them. The demon regards me with a soft gaze. Let us close this chapter. I'm going to trust it. You think it's for the best. A tangible sadness hangs in the air. There are things in my mind I've been wanting to tell the demon. Things I won't be able to say after they're gone. Should make the departure as painless as possible, but... Before you go, I speak up against my better judgment, emboldened by the finality of this moment. I know what I'm about to say will only make goodbye more painful, but I must say it. I breathe in the fog's melancholy scent, willing myself to not get emotional. I just need to say the words. The last thing there's left to say. I love you. Time freezes as if I said nothing at all. The demon's eyes are unreadable, more so than before. I wonder if confessing to them was callous of me, but what's done is done. Slowly they avert their gaze. When they speak, their voice is restrained by 1,000 emotions. For the demon's sake, I pray none of them are like mine. If that is so, then I will not make this any more difficult for you. They face the lake without looking back. I close my eyes. The demon takes a step forward in the dry grass. Live well, human. I open my eyes to find them flooded with emotion. The lake ripples, as always, blind to the tragedy that just occurred. I raise my head, knowing I won't see the demon beside me anymore. Even their torn feathers on the ground have vanished. The soothing sound of their voice, their unchanging, comforting presence, all gone. I'm crying, after all. For a moment, I really thought I was going to make it without crying. I almost made it. Okay, that was ending number 2. I'm gonna choose some of the other options. So instead, I'm gonna start off with the closest to the end part that I'm in one, and not say anything back at it. Although there are so many things I wanted to express while I still can, I hold them back. Speaking would only hurt us both. The demon knows this as well. They face the lake without looking back. I close my eyes, and the demon takes a step forward on the dry grass. Farewell, human. I wish you the best. I open my eyes and find them flooded with emotion. The lake ripples as always, blind to the tragedy that just occurred. I raise my head, knowing I won't see the demon beside me anymore. Even their torn feathers on the ground have vanished. The soothing sound of their voice, their unchanging, comforting presence, all gone. I'm crying, after all. For a moment, I really thought I was going to make it without crying. I almost made it. Okay, so it's the same ending whether or not we've confessed to the demon. I'm going to try to ask it to stay. I'd like you to stay. The demon doesn't say anything. They wouldn't even look at me. Their held breath doesn't go unnoticed by me. I know they heard me. I speak up with more confidence this time. If you want to leave for your own reasons, I won't stop you. But I want you to know I'd miss you terribly. I'd rather you stayed. My departure would make your life easier, wouldn't it not? It is difficult to exist in two worlds simultaneously. You've expressed this sentiment yourself before. Yes, but don't just want an easy life. There are other things I want that are just more... There are other things that are just as important. I just didn't know what to look for, even what I wanted. I think I found someone worth hanging on to in you. You become part of my life, a part I really, really treasure. The demon gazes at the gray sky with empty eyes. Even nature itself is silent with tension. As if in slow motion, the demon collapses onto its knees. Before I know it, I've rushed to their side. You alright? They refuse to meet my eyes. This close, I can feel their cold, soundless breath all around me. The demon gathers her strength for a short moment before speaking in a sorrowful tone. I've been lying to you, human. I've presented to you in a different facade, but the truth is I am afraid. For centuries, I've confined myself to this small corner of the planet, where I thought pain would not find me, but I've come to realize yet again that there is no escape from it. Were I to leave now, my core would still ache each time you cross my mind. You've left your mark. You would have become another human in my memories whose life I've made worse. Another human I've made suffer. Another life I've ruined. You haven't ruined anything. I trail off as I realize the demon wasn't done speaking. And if I stay, someday far too soon, I will lose you regardless. I think I knew. It hurts to be an undying entity on Earth, surrounded by beings who can never stay with you for long. I knew, but still, I put them in the exact position they were trying to escape. I'm sorry. If I'd understood sooner, I wouldn't have pushed my company onto you. I'm sorry for that. The blame is entirely mine, human. Do you regret it? The time we shared? The demon shakes their head subtly. No. Every moment we've shared has made my existence a less lonely one. If only for a short time, I could never regret any of this. If you don't regret it, then isn't it worth it? Perhaps it is, or perhaps for me it is. However, your life is limited. By spending it with me, you'll miss out on so much. I don't want to miss out on you. I know it now. This isn't wrong, it never was. I thought it had to be wrong since that's what everyone else says, but I've come to realize I was just scared, as I always am. I wish I'd seen the truth sooner. I don't know how long I'll live, but I want to make the most of it, and I think the best version of my life includes you. A mournful sound makes its way out of the demon's throat, but they cannot bring themselves to speak. My own voice shakes as well. I can't promise I'll live very long, but I can promise I'll try. I'll try my best and take damn good care of myself, so we can have as much time together as possible. The demon breaks into silent sobs. Air reverberates in their ribcage with every broken breath. I can only watch as warm tears stream down my own face. There's no question, however. My heart says it's still worth it. I speak although my voice is thick with emotion. If I promise you that, will you stay with me? A rattling breath flows through the demon's lungs as they collect themselves. Yes, I will stay human. Call me Willow. Willow. You may call me Hayes. Somehow we formed a habit of watching the sun set together every night, regardless of season or weather. You'd think the routine would get old after a while, but it turns out every sunset is different from any other. Every quiet conversation we share in those moments is likewise unique. A gentle gust of wind ruffles the demon's feathers, but they don't seem to mind. Maybe it's pleasant to be out of the forest every once in a while. It is for me. This one's nice, isn't it? I've seen better. That's not fair. Of course you have. Hayes looks down at me with a soft but melancholy look in their eyes. I regret you won't be able to see the full range of beauty this planet has to offer. You would enjoy those sights more than I will. I sense the immense sadness behind their words, but I won't let them dwell on it in an evening like this. Haven't you heard? Beauty is subjective. If I say this is the most beautiful sunset ever in the history of Earth, you can't prove me wrong. Hayes almost chuckles. One day I'll get to hear what their laugh sounds like. Perhaps this is the most beautiful one, then. It's an odd feeling, knowing Hayes might be there watching the same sunsets 1,000 years after my own existence has ended. I'll likely never fully comprehend what it's like to live for an eternity. I'm just human after all. Hayes has never asked me to be anything more. I put extra effort into my smile. Hayes, when I'm gone, watch the rest with someone else, alright? Hayes doesn't respond. I'll miss you, their eyes say. I know. I know, but this year a feeling has been growing inside of me. It's a confident and most unapologetic feeling. There's one thing I'm sure of, though. One thing that keeps me succumbing to the hopelessness I used to center my life around. There are people out there who will love you even if you don't. I don't know if Hayes believes me just yet, but as the sun begins to sink below the horizon, I'm certain they will. I'll make sure of it. I am glad you asked me to stay. I can only smile. There's nothing else I need to hear. We still have 1,000 sunsets left that I can count. Okay, that's ending number 3. So I'm guessing ending number 1 is probably us deciding to leave the Demon Head. Thank you for these moments we've shared. Take care now, human. Okay, so that must be like best ending, is my assumption. So there is another ending. There's gotta be. So we got ending 2, we got ending 3. Ending 1 seems like a crapshoot, but you know, for completionist sake, let's see it. I suspect that it's this. Okay. Alright, I trust you. I've never really given her a chance. She's always trying to help me out, but I kept rejecting her advice for years. Maybe I should have just listened to her from the start. I'm so glad. I still don't know how to feel. It's all happening too fast for me to understand. But at the same time, it feels as if this is how it's supposed to go. I never believed the saying, love conquers all, but maybe if I give it a chance. Maybe I'm finally strong enough. Maybe I've always had it in me, and I just didn't know until now. Ella lets off a relieved laugh. Wow, even after all these years, huh? Everything is going to change. I knew it would, but not like this. It's been 3 years now. It's been 3 years, and she still comes home every day wearing the same smile she's always had. Likewise, I'm the same I've always been. Is this what she really wanted? Is this really what she wanted? This quiet life with me? I've got nothing to offer her, and I doubt I ever will. I'm not built for this. She'll grow tired of this someday. It's just a matter of time. I hope I'm mentally prepared for that day when it comes. Sometimes when Ella's staying at her parents' house, I get on my bike and head down to the lake as I used to, even though I know the demon is not there. They've left me. I understand why. I left them first. I didn't visit them for months after I moved in with Ella. They must have thought I left for good. Still, I keep hoping someday they'll return to this place. Guilt gnaws at me every time I sneak off to go to the lake. I still can't be honest with Ella. All she's ever asked for me was to forget the demon, but I'm not strong enough to even do that much. I keep breaking my promise to her over and over again. I call for the demon, but they still don't come. Tried apologizing. Tried sitting in silence as we often did. Even cried. Tried everything. If there is any chance they'll come and see me again, I'll keep doing this. Even when I'm old someday, I'll keep coming here for as long as my aging body allows. I still haven't learned anything, have I? Okay, and that was ending 1. So ending 3, we stay with the demon. Ending 2, the demon unfortunately leaves us and we're left sad. And ending 1, we're kind of constantly, even though we're in a possibly healthy relationship, we cannot let go of the demon. So, okay, so we're either embracing the demon, we're letting the demon go, or constantly searching for that demon to come back.